Have you ever found yourself standing in the grocery store aisle, picking up a container of low-fat yogurt or a box of whole wheat cereal, thinking, this has to be good for me, right? After all, you've spent years hearing about the importance of healthy choices. But what if some of the foods that are marketed as healthy, especially to older adults, are actually doing more harm than good once you're over 60? As we age, our bodies go through subtle but powerful changes. Our metabolism slows down, our digestive systems become more sensitive, and our ability to process certain ingredients, like sugar, sodium, or artificial additives, begins to shift. What worked for us in our 30s and 40s might no longer be the right fit in our 60s, 70s, or beyond. And unfortunately, many of the foods we've been taught to believe are healthy can actually be quite harmful when it comes to inflammation, blood sugar control, joint health, and overall vitality. That's why in today's video, we're going to uncover the truth behind 6 popular foods that sound healthy, but could quietly be working against your body after 60. These are foods you might eat every day without thinking twice. You may have even chosen them in hopes of protecting your heart, lowering your cholesterol, or managing your weight. But hidden behind the labels and the good intentions, these foods may be contributing to fatigue, digestive issues, brain fog, and more. We're not here to scare you. We're here to empower you. By the end of this video, you'll not only learn which healthy foods to watch out for, but you'll also get simple, practical swaps that are more nourishing, senior-friendly, and genuinely good for your long-term wellness. So grab a warm cup of tea, get comfortable, and stay with us until the end. You might be surprised by what you learn. I know you are a person who likes to watch videos quietly. If you have not liked and subscribed to the channel, now is a good time to do it because you are a kind person. If the video is helpful, press 1. If the video is not good enough or needs improvement, press 2. Thanks, everyone. Now let's get started. Number 1. Low-fat yogurt. Frank, a retired school principal from Ohio, thought he was doing everything right. At 71, he made it a habit to start each morning with a bowl of low-fat yogurt topped with a few berries. It was quick, convenient, and seemed like the perfect choice for heart health and weight control. But after several months, he noticed something strange. His energy levels dropped, he felt bloated most mornings, and his blood sugar readings were slowly creeping up despite no change in his medication. His doctor asked a simple question during a routine visit. "What are you eating for breakfast?" That conversation marked the beginning of a wake-up call for Frank, and what he learned surprised him. You see, low-fat yogurt is often marketed as a healthy staple, a smart, light, heart-friendly option. But what many people, especially seniors, don't realize is that when manufacturers remove fat from yogurt, they usually add something else to make up for the loss in texture and flavor: sugar. Sometimes a single serving of low-fat yogurt can contain 15 to 20 grams of added sugar. That's more than some donuts. For seniors, this hidden sugar can have serious consequences. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at managing spikes in blood glucose. This can lead to fatigue, inflammation, and even worsened conditions like type 2 diabetes or heart disease. But it's not just the sugar content that's concerning. When natural fat is stripped away, you also lose many of the beneficial nutrients that come with it. Especially in full-fat dairy, fat plays a crucial role in helping your body absorb vitamins like A, D, E, and K. These are fat-soluble nutrients that support your bones, immune system, and even mood regulation. Without the fat, you're not getting the full benefits, and your body may be left craving what it's missing. Moreover, yogurt marketed as low-fat is often processed at high temperatures and can contain artificial thickeners, stabilizers, and flavorings that make digestion harder, especially for those over 60. That's why so many older adults like Frank end up feeling bloated or sluggish after what they assumed was a healthy breakfast. The reality is that the food label might say one thing, but your body will tell you the truth, if you're willing to listen. So what's the better choice? And instead of reaching for the low-fat or fat-free options, try going back to basics with plain, full-fat Greek yogurt. It's rich, creamy, satisfying, and most importantly, it keeps the natural fats intact. These fats not only help you feel fuller longer, but also provide steady energy throughout the morning. To keep it nutritious and balanced, you can add a small handful of fresh berries for antioxidants, a few crushed walnuts for omega-3s, and a sprinkle of cinnamon to help stabilize blood sugar. It's simple, wholesome, and your body will likely respond with more energy, better digestion, and improved mood. Frank made the switch, and within just a few weeks, he noticed that his stomach felt lighter, his energy was more consistent, and even his morning walks felt easier. He didn't need to cut out yogurt altogether. He just needed to choose the right kind. The truth is, many foods we think are helping us might just need a small adjustment to actually support our changing needs as we age. So here's a question for you. Have you been eating low-fat yogurt thinking it was good for you? How does your body feel afterward? Sometimes all it takes is paying attention to how we feel after a meal to uncover what's really nourishing us and what isn't. Now let's move on to the next surprising food that may be secretly working against your health goals after 60. Number 2, whole wheat bread. Carol, a 68-year-old retired librarian living in Oregon, always prided herself on making healthy choices. She had switched from white bread to whole wheat bread years ago, believing it was the better option for her heart and her waistline. Every morning, she toasted 2 slices and topped them with almond butter or a poached egg, thinking she was giving her body the nourishment it needed. But despite her good intentions, Carol began to experience persistent bloating, joint discomfort, and even strange mood swings in the afternoon. She blamed it on aging, of course. What else could it be? But when she began reading the ingredients list on her favorite whole wheat bread, she realized there might be something else going on. You see, not all whole wheat bread is created equal. In fact, many store-bought whole wheat loaves are highly processed and contain just as much, if not more, sugar, preservatives, and refined flour as white bread. Some even use caramel coloring to make the bread appear darker and healthier than it really is. For older adults who may already be dealing with slower digestion, higher sensitivity to glucose, or low-grade inflammation, this can be a hidden danger. Just because a label says whole wheat doesn't mean it's good for you. Wheat itself is not the villain, but the way it's processed in modern foods often strips it of its fiber, minerals, and essential nutrients. And many commercial loaves include added gluten to create that soft, stretchy texture, which can be particularly hard on the digestive system of seniors. Carol discovered that her daily bread habit was contributing to the inflammation in her joints, making her arthritis worse and leaving her feeling stiff and tired. When she cut back and switched to more whole, less processed alternatives, she began to feel the difference in just a few weeks. Another problem is that commercial whole wheat bread tends to cause quick spikes in blood sugar, especially when eaten alone without protein or fat. For seniors, this can lead to crashes in energy, irritability, and eventually insulin resistance. That afternoon brain fog or sudden fatigue might not be a sign of old age. It could be your breakfast or lunch bread silently sabotaging your day. So what are the smarter choices? If you enjoy bread, look for brands that use sprouted grains or are fermented through traditional sourdough methods. These types of breads are easier to digest and have a lower glycemic impact. Better yet, consider rotating away from bread a few days a week and instead enjoy a hearty bowl of steel-cut oats, a veggie omelet, or a slice of avocado on a rice cake or sweet potato toast. Your digestive system and your joints might thank you for it. Carol now enjoys sourdough toast a few times a week, usually paired with eggs and steamed spinach. On other mornings, she opts for overnight oats soaked with chia seeds, almond milk, and blueberries. She says she feels lighter, clearer, and more energized. And best of all, she no longer feels like she's just putting up with daily aches and stiffness. Food is information, and after 60, your body's always listening, always reacting. When you feed it the right inputs, it responds in kind. But when you unknowingly give it ingredients that irritate, inflame, or destabilize your blood sugar, the effects can accumulate over time, often disguised as just getting older. So let me ask you, when was the last time you really looked at the ingredients on your bread? Could that healthy toast be doing more harm than good? If you've been feeling bloated, foggy, or just not yourself, it might be time to take a closer look. In the next section, we'll talk about another breakfast favorite that many people believe is healthy, but it might just be one of the sneakiest sources of sugar in your whole diet. Let's take a closer look at orange juice. Number 3, orange juice. For as long as he could remember, Miguel, a 73-year-old retired mechanic from New Mexico, had started his day the same way, with a tall, cold glass of orange juice. It was a habit passed down from his parents, who always said orange juice was the healthiest way to start the morning. It gave him comfort, a sense of routine, and what he thought was a boost of energy. "It's got vitamin C," he would tell his wife, "and it's natural." But over time, Miguel noticed something strange. He began gaining weight, even though he wasn't eating any more than usual. He felt drained by mid-morning, often needing a nap before lunch, and his doctor had recently warned him about rising blood sugar levels. Confused, Miguel started looking at what he was actually putting into his body. That's when he took a closer look at his beloved orange juice. Here's the thing. While orange juice may seem like a healthy choice, especially because it's made from fruit, it can be surprisingly harmful for seniors. A single 8-ounce glass of orange juice contains about 20 to 25 grams of sugar, which is equivalent to 5 or 6 teaspoons. And because the juice is separated from the fiber of the fruit, all that sugar rushes straight into your bloodstream, causing a sharp spike in blood glucose. For someone over 60, whose metabolism has slowed and whose insulin sensitivity may have decreased, this can lead to energy crashes, inflammation, weight gain, and even contribute to the progression of type 2 diabetes. Unlike eating a whole orange, where the fiber slows down the absorption of sugar and helps regulate digestion, juice delivers a concentrated hit of fructose with none of the natural buffering effects. It also lacks the satiety factor. In other words, you drink a glass of juice and still feel hungry. Many older adults end up drinking more juice than they think, believing it's harmless or even helpful, but they're unknowingly stressing their liver, elevating triglyceride levels, and making it harder to maintain a healthy weight. Miguel realized that the orange juice he had trusted for decades wasn't giving him the energy he thought it was draining it. He decided to try something new. Instead of juice, he started eating one whole orange in the morning alongside a hard-boiled egg and a few almonds. Within 2 weeks, he noticed fewer blood sugar crashes and more energy throughout the day. He even dropped a few pounds without changing anything else. The natural fiber in the orange kept him feeling full longer, and the protein and healthy fat helped him stay balanced and focused. The truth is, many seniors reach for orange juice because it's familiar, quick, and marketed as a smart choice. But just because something has vitamin C doesn't mean it belongs in your daily routine, especially if it comes with a high dose of sugar and no fiber. There are better ways to get your nutrients without the sugar spike. So what can you do instead? Choose whole fruits over fruit juices whenever possible. Or, if you want something refreshing in the morning, try infusing water with slices of orange, lemon, or cucumber. You'll get a touch of flavor, some natural antioxidants, and stay hydrated without overwhelming your body with sugar. Another option is to blend a whole orange into a smoothie, keeping the pulp and fiber intact. That way, your body gets the full package, not just the sweet stuff. Miguel now looks back and chuckles at how something so healthy made him feel so sluggish. But he doesn't blame himself, and neither should you. We all grow up with certain food myths that stick with us. The key is to stay curious, pay attention to how your body feels, and be willing to try something new. Your body is wiser than you think, and it will always tell you when something is or isn't working. So let me ask you, do you drink fruit juice every morning? Have you noticed how your energy feels afterward? What if your orange juice habit is the reason your mornings feel harder than they should? Up next, we'll talk about a breakfast item that many people call heart healthy, but could be quietly inflaming your gut and contributing to weight gain. Let's take a closer look at granola and breakfast cereals. Number 4, granola or breakfast cereal. Linda, a 66-year-old retired nurse from Colorado, had always considered herself health conscious. She read nutrition labels, stayed active, and rarely ate fast food. Wanting to simplify her mornings, she started eating granola with almond milk every day, believing it was one of the best choices she could make for her heart and bones. It tasted good, was packed with grains, and didn't take much time to prepare. But within a couple of months, Linda began to notice that she was feeling more sluggish after breakfast. Her pants were fitting tighter, and she experienced uncomfortable bloating that seemed to last all morning. Her doctor reassured her that these were common signs of aging, but something didn't sit right. So Linda did some digging, and what she found changed the way she looked at her breakfast bowl forever. Granola and many healthy cereals are some of the most misleading foods in the grocery store. They're often marketed with words like whole grain, high fiber, and heart healthy, but behind those claims are hidden sugars, unhealthy fats, and more calories than you might expect. A single serving, and let's be honest, most people eat more than just one serving, can contain over 300 calories and 15 grams of sugar, not to mention oils like canola or sunflower oil that have been highly processed. For someone over 60, these ingredients can be a recipe for inflammation, weight gain, and digestive discomfort. The problem with granola and boxed cereals is that they're often packed with empty calories that provide a quick burst of energy, followed by a steep crash. For older adults who already face challenges with blood sugar regulation and slower metabolism, this spike and crash effect can be especially exhausting. It might explain why you feel a wave of tiredness an hour or two after breakfast, or why you get cravings even though you just ate. It's not that you need more food, it's that your body didn't get the right kind of fuel to begin with. Linda was surprised to learn that even brands labeled as low sugar were using natural sweeteners like honey, agave, or fruit juice concentrates, which can still cause a spike in insulin levels. And the fiber content, which is supposed to help with digestion and satiety, was often too low to offset the impact of the sugar and oils. Worse, many cereals and granolas are toasted or processed at high temperatures, which can degrade the nutrients and create compounds that irritate the gut lining. So what can be done instead? Linda began experimenting with homemade breakfasts. She made her own granola using rolled oats, pumpkin seeds, cinnamon, a touch of maple syrup, and baked it lightly at home. Just enough to get the crunch without the added chemicals. Some mornings she opted for steel-cut oats with ground flaxseed, banana slices, and a handful of blueberries. Other days she chose a more savory route, scrambled eggs with sautéed spinach and a slice of avocado toast on sprouted grain bread. The difference was almost immediate. Her bloating reduced, her energy stabilized, and she stopped feeling that mid-morning crash she had accepted as normal. Granola and cereal might still have a place in your kitchen, but only if you take the time to read the ingredients and understand what your body truly needs. If convenience is what you're after, consider prepping your breakfast the night before with overnight oats or a vegetable frittata you can reheat quickly. Your digestion will thank you, your energy will improve, and you might even find that your cravings for sugar and snacks start to fade. Linda now tells her friends that healthy doesn't always mean helpful, especially after 60. She's more in tune with her body than she's ever been, and it started with questioning something as simple as cereal. She reminds people that just because something comes in a box with a heart symbol doesn't mean it belongs in your body. So let me ask you, what's in your breakfast bowl? Have you ever really checked the sugar content in your favorite cereal or granola? If your mornings feel heavy or your digestion seems off, it might be time to rethink that healthy breakfast. Next, we're going to explore a modern food trend that's become extremely popular, especially among people trying to eat less meat. But not all plant-based alternatives are as clean or safe as they seem. Let's talk about plant-based meat substitutes. Number 5. Plant-based meat substitutes. Thomas, a 70-year-old retired high school science teacher from Vermont, had always kept up with health trends. He read the latest articles, followed nutrition blogs, and tried to stay informed. So when he heard that cutting back on red meat could improve heart health, reduce inflammation, and help the planet, he made a change. He swapped his usual turkey sandwich for a plant-based meat burger made from soy protein and pea isolates, wrapped in flashy packaging that promised no cholesterol, low fat, and all natural. It seemed like the perfect choice. But within a few weeks, Thomas began experiencing strange symptoms: constant bloating, unusual fatigue, restless sleep, and brain fog that made reading the morning paper feel like a chore. Perplexed, he visited his doctor and mentioned his new diet. That's when the conversation shifted. While the idea of plant-based eating is rooted in good intentions, not all plant-based meat substitutes are created equal, especially for seniors. In fact, many of the most popular meatless products are ultra-processed, loaded with additives, and far from the natural image they project. These burgers and sausages may be made from plants, but they're often full of isolated proteins, flavor enhancers, thickeners, industrial seed oils, and large amounts of sodium. For someone over 60, this can be a toxic combination. Let's break it down. The core proteins in these meat substitutes are often derived from soy or peas that have been heavily processed, stripped of fiber, altered chemically, and reconstituted to mimic the texture of real meat. To get that familiar savory taste, manufacturers add yeast extracts, smoke flavor, natural flavors, and sometimes even MSG. All of this may not sound too bad until you consider how the aging digestive system handles it. For older adults, highly processed ingredients can lead to digestive discomfort, slow elimination, and low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Thomas had unknowingly increased his sodium intake significantly too. Some plant-based burgers have over 400 to 500 milligrams of sodium per patty, and that's before you add a bun, condiments, or side dishes. For seniors managing blood pressure or kidney health, this excess salt can quietly contribute to fluid retention, elevated blood pressure, and strain on the cardiovascular system. Moreover, many of these meatless options use vegetable oils that are high in omega-6 fats and low in omega-3s, which can tip the body's balance toward chronic inflammation, a root cause of many age-related diseases. Perhaps most surprising of all is how these foods can disrupt hormones. Many soy-based products, especially when consumed in high quantities, contain phytoestrogens that can mimic estrogen in the body. While this may not be a major concern for everyone, it can affect mood, energy levels, and hormonal balance, especially in older adults with already sensitive systems. So what did Thomas do? He decided to step back and simplify. Instead of relying on packaged meatless meats, he began exploring whole food alternatives. For lunch, he might have a black bean and quinoa bowl with sautéed vegetables, or a lentil soup rich in fiber and protein. For dinner, he enjoyed roasted portobello mushrooms or a hearty chickpea stew. He didn't give up on the idea of plant-based eating. He just got closer to the plants themselves. Within a few weeks, Thomas's bloating eased, his mind felt clearer, and he found himself sleeping more soundly. He even noticed his joints felt better, a welcome change after years of stiffness. The shift reminded him that plant-based doesn't mean processed-based, and that the simpler the food, the better his body responded. If you're considering reducing meat in your diet, that's a wonderful goal. But don't trade one health risk for another by relying on ultra-processed substitutes. Your body knows the difference between a bean and a lab-made patty. The closer your food is to its natural form, the easier it is for your body to digest, absorb, and thrive on. So here's something to think about. Have you jumped on the plant-based trend without checking the label? Do your new healthy meals leave you feeling energized or drained? It's worth asking, because food should never just look healthy on the outside. It should feel healthy on the inside too. Coming up next, we'll take a look at a grab-and-go item that many seniors rely on, one that promises strength, energy, and convenience. But hidden beneath the wrapper, it might be doing the opposite. Let's talk about protein bars. Number 6, protein bars. Nancy, a 75-year-old grandmother from Florida, was always on the go. Between volunteering at the local animal shelter, gardening in her backyard, and hosting Sunday dinners for her extended family, she rarely had time to sit down for a full breakfast or lunch. So like many people trying to stay healthy and energized, she turned to protein bars. They were easy to grab, didn't require any prep, and promised muscle support and sustained energy, just what someone her age might need. She kept a box in her car, another in the pantry, and even slipped one into her purse when heading out for errands. But over time, Nancy started experiencing unexpected symptoms: a dry mouth, headaches in the late afternoon, sluggish digestion, and occasional constipation. It didn't make sense. She thought she was making a smart choice. That is, until a friend suggested she take a closer look at the ingredients in her favorite health bar. What Nancy discovered was eye-opening. Her go-to bars, like many on the market, were highly processed and filled with ingredients that were far from whole or nourishing. Many protein bars contain a long list of artificial sweeteners, sugar alcohols, emulsifiers, and synthetic fiber that can disrupt digestion, especially in older adults whose systems are more sensitive. What looks like a quick burst of protein is often a cocktail of chemicals, low-quality protein isolates, and added sugars that don't do the body any favors. For seniors, especially those dealing with slower digestion, kidney issues, or blood sugar concerns, these bars can create more problems than they solve. Some bars contain up to 20 grams of protein, but from sources like soy isolate or whey concentrate, which are difficult for many older bodies to digest and absorb. They may also include ingredients like sucralose, erythritol or maltitol, sugar substitutes that can cause bloating, gas, and even diarrhea. For Nancy, the dry mouth and headaches were likely signs of mild dehydration and overconsumption of sodium, which is also hidden in many popular bars under the guise of flavor. And let's not forget the calorie count. While marketed as light or fit, some bars contain 250 to 300 calories, almost the same as a full meal, without offering the satisfaction or nourishment that comes from real food. The body can tell the difference between a protein bar and a balanced meal with whole ingredients. A bar might fill your stomach for an hour, but it often leaves your body searching for the missing pieces it didn't get: fiber, healthy fats, real vitamins, and enzymes found only in whole foods. So what can seniors do instead? Nancy decided to simplify. She started carrying a small container of mixed nuts and seeds, sometimes adding a few dried blueberries or a square of dark chocolate. When she needed a light breakfast on the go, she prepared hard-boiled eggs in advance and paired them with a banana or a slice of apple with peanut butter. These small changes made a big difference. Her digestion improved, the headaches disappeared, and she said she felt more human, a funny way to describe it, but perfectly accurate. Nancy's story is a reminder that convenience doesn't have to come at the cost of health. Food should support your body, not just fill your stomach. Especially after 60, when your nutritional needs shift and your tolerance for artificial additives decreases, it's important to choose simplicity over flashy labels and long ingredient lists. If you love the idea of a portable snack, there are ways to make your own bars at home using rolled oats, almond butter, honey, and chia seeds. Real ingredients you recognize and can pronounce. And when you're in a rush, nothing beats a piece of fruit paired with protein from nuts or yogurt. These combinations offer lasting energy, better digestion, and fewer side effects. So here's the question. When was the last time you looked at the label on your favorite protein bar? Do you recognize the ingredients, or is it a list of things that sound like they belong in a lab? If you're looking to feel more energized, more regular, and more in tune with your body, it might be time to unwrap something different. Now that we've uncovered all 6 foods that seem healthy but may actually harm your health after 60, it's time to bring everything together in our conclusion. Let's take a step back and reflect on what we've learned, and more importantly, how you can use this knowledge to make choices that truly support your well-being. So we've taken a closer look at 6 foods that are often labeled as healthy, but can quietly work against your body after 60. From low-fat yogurt to protein bars, these items may seem like smart choices on the surface. But once we peel back the packaging and understand how they interact with an aging body, the truth becomes clear. The good news? You don't need to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Small, thoughtful changes like switching to full-fat yogurt, choosing whole fruits over juice, or replacing processed meat substitutes with real beans or mushrooms can make a big difference in how you feel day to day. Your body is always communicating with you. Pay attention to how certain foods make you feel. More energized or more tired, more clear-headed or more foggy. When you choose real, whole foods and trust your intuition, you give yourself the best chance to thrive, not just survive, in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. So tell me, which of these 6 foods surprised you the most? And what change are you inspired to make starting today? Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, stay well, stay curious, and always choose what truly nourishes you. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and haven't yet liked and subscribed, now is the perfect time to do so. It really helps our channel grow and reach more people who need this kind of helpful content. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll always know when a new video is up. Your support truly means the world to us. Take care and we'll see you in the next video.